Glory, legacy, triumph. These all come with receiving that gold belt around your waist, but these chances to get the title come far and few between. Let's break this down even further. There have been 91 title fights in the past 5 years. This means fans get 18.2 title fights per year, and amongst 11 active divisions in the UFC, there would be 1.66 title fights per year per division. This means that on average, a new contender will face the division's champion once every 220 days, which is around 7.25 months. Now put yourself in the shoes of UFC matchmakers. On the chart there are two fighters, both ranked at the top of their division and are options to fight for the title. Digging into their careers, Fighter A has a UFC record of 9-0, while Fighter B has a UFC record of 5-1. These two have fought before, with undefeated Fighter A getting the better of Fighter B. Fighter A has never finished an opponent in the UFC, while Fighter B has finished 3 of his 5 wins. Fighter A only has one performance bonus, which came in his fight with Fighter B, while Fighter B has had performance bonuses in 3 of 6 fights. Looking at activity, Fighter A has only fought twice since defeating Fighter B at UFC 288, but Fighter B has fought 5 times since. So who would you give the title shot to? If you said Fighter A, you would have given it to Movsar Evloev. But if you said Fighter B, you'd be giving it to Diego Lopes. The UFC also went with Fighter B. Although these are only statistics, it shows what the UFC values: activity and finishes. Lopes entered the UFC on short notice less than 2 years ago to fight Evloev, but has shown the value and excitement that you need to promote someone for the title. The UFC is in the entertainment business, and it needs to put on entertaining fights for fans in order to sell their product and make money. So to some, Evloev may be deserving on paper, but he was never going to get the call up from the UFC. This graph is a roadmap comparing the careers of Evloev and Lopes since their first meeting at UFC 288. After defeating Lopes, he fought Arnold Allen 9 months later to open up the main card of UFC 297. It was a close fight where the most memorable part were the illegal knees landed by Allen. Evloev then fought on the prelims 11 months later on UFC 310 against Aljamain Sterling, where he won by decision but only landed single-digit significant strikes. Rumors broke out this week that he'll be fighting former Bellator fighter Aaron Pico. It's crazy to think that someone who defeated the person challenging for the title less than 2 years ago and has not lost since will be fighting an unranked fighter that was signed from outside of the organization. But that's what happens when you don't have the activity and finishing skills that the company desires. Now let's compare to Diego's journey. He fought Gavin Tucker 3 months later and submitted him in the second minute, earning himself a performance bonus. 3 months after that came Pat Sabatini, where Lopes left him asleep on the canvas in just 90 seconds. This earned him his 3rd performance bonus in a row and was primed for a push by the UFC. He then earned a spot on UFC 300, where he finished his 3rd fight in a row within 2 minutes by sleeping Sadiq Youssef, was arguably snubbed for a $300,000 performance bonus, and marked his 4th fight in 12 months. He was then given Brian Ortega 2 months later, who pulled out the day of the fight and led to the infamous hours notice replacement of Dan Ige. After defeating Ige in a competitive fight, he fought the man who pulled out on him 2 months before, where he won every round on the judges' scorecards against Ortega. By the time Diego fights this weekend, it will mark his 6th fight in the span where Evloev has only had 2. So my advice for fighters who want to touch gold: fight often and finish your fights. Diego Lopes is a perfect example of this. If you've put on a show, there's always a spot for you to jump the line. Because the UFC rewards killers, not winners. If you guys made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, please like and subscribe, and check us out on Instagram and TikTok, where I post the Barn Burner Gazette every week to highlight the upcoming fights. Thank you so much, and have a great day.